You're standing in the heart of a bustling city. The air is filled with the symphony of honking cars and the rhythmic chatter of pedestrians. Above, the sky is a dance of wings, a cacophony of birds flitting between the towering skyscrapers. Pigeons, crows, seagulls, they are everywhere, thousands of them, each one flapping and swirling through the cityscape, navigating between the glass and steel like aerial acrobats. Have you noticed how they seem to own the sky, yet hardly anyone looks up? Now, imagine this, you're hungry, not just peckish but truly ravenous, the type of hunger that gnaws at your insides, demanding satisfaction. You glance around at these feathered creatures and a question starts to form. Why do we not eat these birds? In this city life, we pass by these birds every day. They nest in our parks, perch on our statues, and wander through our open markets. But why does the thought of consuming them feel so foreign? Why are they not on our plates despite their ubiquity? Let's unravel this curious enigma, one feather at a time. Transport yourself back in time, thousands of years ago. Human survival was a precarious affair. The land was an untamed wilderness, full of unknown threats and opportunities alike. The early humans were masters of resourcefulness, their survival dependent on the ability to harness the environment around them. Birds, abundant and varied, were an obvious source of nourishment. The people of yore indeed hunted birds, from the great auk to the passenger pigeon, until they were no more. Yet, here we are in the present day, surrounded by these winged urban dwellers, and we barely give them a second thought as a food source. But why? Why have these birds, which seem so ripe for the taking, been left to fly freely above us? The reasons are more intricate than you might suspect. As humans evolved, so did our culinary preferences and societal norms. In some cultures, birds became symbols of peace, messengers of the gods, or even embodying spirits. To consume them would be akin to sacrilege, a violation of an unspoken bond between man and nature. Then there's the question of practicality. In medieval Europe, the wealthy dined on peacock and swan, their ostentation a reflection of status rather than sustenance. Yet the commoners, those who toiled in the fields or labored in the cities, rarely indulged in such luxuries. Day-to-day survival was about efficiency and ease. Why hunt a pigeon when a chicken could be raised at home, providing eggs and meat with minimal effort? Chickens, with their docile nature and high yield, became a staple, slowly edging out their wilder counterparts. Across time, this preference for farm-raised birds grew. The Industrial Revolution reshaped societies, bringing about new challenges and new solutions. People flocked to cities, and with them came a demand for readily available, reliable food sources. The once wild chicken was domesticated to an unprecedented scale, engineered for mass production and consumption. Meanwhile, city birds learned to thrive in their own niches, adapting to the urban sprawl but remaining largely untouched by the human hand. But it's not just history and practicality that explain this peculiar phenomenon. There are deeper layers, woven into the fabric of human culture and psychology. Consider the pigeon, often dubbed the rat with wings. Its stigma is a testament to our complex relationship with urban wildlife. These birds, despite their prevalence, are seen as nuisances, their presence a reminder of the chaos and grime of city life. Eating them would feel wrong, unclean, a step backward in our civilized world. Yet, as we ponder this urban avian conundrum, there's a twist in our tale. For not all birds are shunned from the table. In some parts of the world, pigeons are considered a delicacy, a gourmet treat revered for their rich flavor. In Italy and France, squab, young pigeon, is served in fine dining establishments, a nod to culinary traditions that have endured for centuries. This paradox, this dance between acceptance and aversion, begs the question, how did we arrive at such a culinary crossroads? Why have we chosen some birds over others? Why do we turn a blind eye to the flocks that could easily fill our stomachs? The answers lie hidden in the annals of human development, a tapestry of traditions and taboos, of practicality and prestige. It is a journey through time, across continents and cultures, where each thread tells a story, each weave reveals a new perspective. As we pull at these threads, the mystery of the unconsumed birds begins to unravel, revealing a narrative as intricate as the feathers that adorn these city avians. So, as you stand amidst the urban throng, gazing up at the skyline speckled with flocks, ask yourself, what unseen forces have shaped our dietary choices? What ancient truths lie behind the wings of these creatures that soar through our lives yet remain untouched by our appetites? The answers await just beyond the horizon. As we delve deeper into the mystery of why some birds remain untouched by our culinary pursuits, the story takes us back to the dawn of human civilization, a time when survival was an art and every decision could mean the difference between life and death. Early humans were astutely observant. their senses finely tuned to the world around them. They understood the land, the seasons, and the creatures that shared their environment. Birds were not just sources of food, they were indicators of ecosystem health and seasonal shifts. Historically, the art of falconry emerged as both a means of hunting and a symbol of status among the elite. Falcons and hawks became extensions of human will, their sharp talons and keen eyesight serving as tools in the hunt for smaller game. However, the birds that accompanied these hunts were not consumed. They were revered, respected partners in survival. This reverence extended to other birds as well, many of whom became intertwined with human mythology and culture. Consider the raven, a bird steeped in lore and legend. Across various cultures, ravens have been seen as symbols of wisdom and prophecy, their black plumage and eerie calls inspiring both fear and awe. Eating such a creature would seem a transgression against the stories and beliefs that had been woven into the fabric of society. Similarly, the swan, with its grace and elegance, came to symbolize purity and beauty, its consumption reserved for ceremonial feasts and royal banquets. As societies evolved and agriculture took root, the relationship between humans and birds transformed. The development of agrarian communities meant that food production could be controlled and predicted to a certain extent. Domesticated birds, like hens and ducks, became valuable resources, their eggs and meat forming a reliable part of the human diet. These birds were easy to manage, their breeding predictable, and their yield substantial. Meanwhile, their wild cousins continued to inhabit the outskirts of human life, their roles shifted from prey to part of the natural tapestry. The urbanization of society introduced new dynamics. As cities sprawled and populations surged, the bird species that could adapt to these environments thrived. Pigeons, with their remarkable homing abilities and adaptability, flourished in the urban landscape. They became part of the city's rhythm, scavenging for food and nesting in the nooks and crannies of human architecture. Yet, despite their abundance, they were largely ignored as a food source. They were seen not as potential nourishment, but as scavengers, the city's feathered underclass, surviving on the margins of human society. This brings us to a curious paradox. While pigeons roamed freely, accessible, and plentiful, humans turned their culinary focus elsewhere. Part of this shift can be attributed to the industrialization of farming practices. The rise of factory farming meant that poultry like chicken and turkey could be produced on a massive scale, their meat a staple in homes across the world. These birds, bred for consumption, offered a consistency that wild birds could not. They were convenient, predictable, and devoid of the urban stigma attached to city-dwelling birds. But there's more to this story, more threads to the fabric of our feathered conundrum. The psychological aspect cannot be overlooked. The classification of birds into categories of edible and inedible is not purely a matter of taste or availability. It is deeply rooted in cultural perceptions and social constructs. Birds that live in close proximity to humans, sharing our spaces and scavenging from our refuse, become part of the urban landscape. Their abundance makes them visible, but their familiarity breeds disregard. There's also the health factor, a significant concern in societies increasingly conscious of hygiene and disease. Urban birds often evoke concerns about cleanliness, their association with waste and refuse making them seem unappealing as food sources. This perception is bolstered by health advisories and public policies aimed at managing urban wildlife populations, further entrenching the divide between what we can eat and what we choose not to. Yet, as we peer closer, we find cultural exceptions that challenge these norms. In some cultures, pigeons are not only consumed but cherished. In parts of the Middle East and Europe, squab is considered a delicacy. The young pigeon, tender and flavorful, is prepared with care, its culinary value celebrated. This regional variation highlights the role of tradition in shaping dietary choices, revealing how deeply personal and culturally specific these choices can be. The adaptability of humans is matched only by the adaptability of birds. As we change our environments, they change with us, evolving alongside our urban jungles. They are our companions in the truest sense, witnesses to our advancements and our follies. And yet they remain largely untouched by our appetite, saved by a complex web of cultural beliefs, practical considerations, and psychological perceptions. As we continue to unravel this mystery, we begin to see a larger pattern. The choices we make, the creatures we consume, are not just reflections of necessity but of identity. They define us, connect us to our past, and dictate how we see the world. Birds, with their ability to soar above us and their ubiquity in our lives, are testaments to this interplay between human evolution and cultural preservation. So, as you stand once more in the heart of the city, surrounded by the frenetic dance of wings, consider the story each bird tells. Consider the histories they embody, the taboos they symbolize, the choices they represent. In their flight, they carry the echoes of a time when humans and nature were inseparable, each shaping the other in a dance as old as time itself. And perhaps in their survival, we find a reflection of our own, resilient, adaptable, and deeply, inextricably intertwined with the natural world. As we stand on the brink of the modern age, the narrative of birds and humans interlaces even more intricately. Our relationship with these feathered phenomena is a reflection of our rapidly changing world, a world grappling with issues of sustainability, biodiversity, and ethical consumption. As cities expand and natural habitats shrink, the birds that once thrived in the wilderness have had to adapt or face extinction. For those that have adapted, like pigeons and crows, their survival in the concrete jungles is a testament to resilience and adaptability. Yet they remain largely untouched by human consumption. In contemporary society, the choices we make about what we eat are increasingly informed by concerns about environmental impact and sustainability. Industrial agriculture has come under scrutiny for its ecological footprint, leading many to reconsider their dietary habits in search of more sustainable practices. The irony, of course, is that urban birds, abundant, adaptable, and often overlooked, represent a potential answer to questions of sustainable protein sources. In some circles, there is a growing movement advocating for the reevaluation of these untapped resources, suggesting that locally sourced and sustainably managed urban wildlife could complement modern diets. Yet, despite the practicality and potential benefits, societal norms and perceptions continue to hold sway. The idea of consuming urban birds is still met with hesitation, rooted firmly in cultural and psychological barriers. The stigma attached to these birds as harbingers of disease or symbols of urban decay persists. These perceptions are powerful, ingrained through centuries of cultural storytelling and reinforced by modern public health campaigns. But the story doesn't end there. Our narrative takes another twist as we consider the broader implications of our relationship with birds. In many ways, these creatures are mirrors reflecting our own societal values and challenges. They highlight the complexities of living in a world where nature and human invention collide, where the boundaries of the wild and the urban blur more each day. As we look to the future, the choices we make as societies will shape not only our diets but our ecosystems. Birds, with their ability to adapt and thrive alongside us, serve as a reminder of the delicate balance that must be struck between development and conservation. They challenge us to rethink our preconceived notions and inspire us to forge new paths in harmony with the natural world. This brings us full circle to a profound realization. The narrative of birds in human society is not just about what we eat or choose not to eat. It's about identity, connection, and coexistence. Birds are not merely creatures of the sky. They are symbols of a world where humans and nature can thrive together. They remind us of the resilience inherent in life, the beauty of adaptation, and the wisdom of respecting our shared environment. So, as you find yourself once more in the midst of the urban hustle, eyes drawn to the skies and the ceaseless flutter of wings, consider the stories these birds embody. They are more than just a part of the landscape. They are participants in a shared journey through time, navigating the complexities of survival alongside us. And perhaps, in understanding their story, we come to understand a little more about our own. In the end, the tale of why we don't eat these birds offers a window into the human condition, a reflection on how far we've come and where we might go. It challenges us to question the boundaries we've set, the traditions we uphold, and the possibilities we have yet to explore. As we move forward, the key to our relationship with the natural world may lie not in consumption, but in appreciation, respect, and mutual coexistence. As the sun sets over the city skyline, casting long shadows and painting the sky in hues of gold and crimson, you can almost hear the whisper of wings, carrying with them the stories of the past and the promise of the future. In these moments, we are reminded of the profound truth that to understand the world, we must first understand the myriad connections that bind us to every living thing. And thus we arrive at a final thought. Every bird that graces our cities, every creature that shares our space, teaches us a lesson in harmony and resilience. They are living narratives, testaments to an interconnected world. In choosing not to consume them, perhaps we are making a statement about the kind of world we wish to build, a world where the dance of life continues unabated, where each voice, each wingbeat contributes to the symphony of existence. This is the legacy we leave, the story we write, one choice, one bird at a time.